What's up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of the For All Nerds show. On this episode, we welcome Omari Malik, the founder and publisher of Blacktooth Publishing, an independent black comic book company. What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the For All Nerds show. And as always on the For All Nerds show, we are bringing you that heat. And of course, we have yet another exclusive, amazing interview in store for you. We have Omari Malik in the building. Omari is the founder and also, one of the creators at Blacktooth Publishing, LLC, a Brooklyn, NY-based publishing company, which, like I said before, he founded. It's focused on giving creators a platform to express themselves unapologetically through literature. They have 3 flagship titles. Adastra, did I get that right? I want to make sure. I'm probably okay. Good. I was pure guess. Really loved it, but had to guess at the name. Dogpile is their second title, which off top was my favorite, and Snakebite. Omari was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, the 804.
You already know, man.
You already know. Look, we'll get into that in a second. I'm a lover of Richmond. Like any great superhero story, Malik's story is one of both tragedy and triumph. After losing his father at 7 years old, he turned to comic books and music as an outlet. And at 17 years old, Malik moved to New York City to attend college with less than $200 in his name. Through prayer and perseverance, Malik graduated both a bachelor's degree and master's degree. Shortly after graduating, he entered corporate America, blah, 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 got tired of that, and turned into a real superhero and founded Blacktooth Publishing. I don't mean I got tired of your intro. I just mean you got tired of that world, Got it on.
Welcome to For All Nerds, Omari. How you feeling today?
I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'll mention it here because I mentioned it, before we were recording. I have been a fan for a minute because of my standship for, Kari Randolph and Brandon Thomas and all those guys. So I've been listening for a minute, man. So this means a lot to be able to be here.
And as I've been doing, I'm going to give you praise for listening and doing what we ask. Make sure if you have any projects, you have any amazing things you're working on, to hit us up. That's what Omari's team did. And that's why we got to read all of his great work and have him on the show today to talk to him. So please make sure you're hitting us up. Contact at ForAllNerds.com. Thank you. So Kari, we've read through I guess what we got, like the full compilation that had all 3 titles in it, right?
Yep.
All right. I want to start because I think that's probably our favorite one, Dogpile. Tell us, like, for people who've never read it, like, and all they just see is this black guy surrounded by a bunch of dogs. Can you give them some more context about what this story is about?
Yeah, so I'll give you guys like the quick convention pitch. I do a bunch of conventions. So when random people walk up to my table, I like to tell them, hey, man, Dogpile, it's a manga. The main character loses his family in a mysterious accident. Now alongside 7 dogs, he's trying to figure out what happened and just kind of go about his day and, live life and try to be on the upside of everything. So that's the short version without giving away too much initially, but I obviously, we'll talk more about everything, but, feel free to fire away, or if you let me go, I will ramble all day.
That's okay.
So let's, back up a little bit, because you founded the whole Blacktooth, and everything, and you were working in corporate America, toiling away in the mines and trenches. And so what was your moment when you were like, oh man, fuck all this, I gotta, do what I gotta do?
So I'll say, well, there's technically 2 moments. So, and I guess I'll start it for me. I've always been a comic book kid. Like my dad was a big comic book collector. So my dad, I grew up around long boxes. So, and when I say long boxes, like I grew up around like 90s DC, Milestone, Image, like those 90s books. Like I know he's getting in a bit of craziness online, but I grew up around so many Chuck Dixon books, so many Todd McFarlane books, like so many Denny O'Neil books and No Man's Land and all that 90s, comic book stuff. So that was always in my house. And I like to laugh and tell people it's like I was a marketing person's dream in the early 2000s / late 90s, because if you had a cartoon and a toy, I was going to yell in Walmart or KB Toys until I got it. So I was always
Mm.
into that sort of stuff, and I didn't realize that people worked at Marvel, like, or DC. Like, I didn't realize that was a job. Like, I just saw names on books, and I was like, oh well, they clearly made everything. Especially when you're reading like image books or milestone books, and you're seeing Dwayne McDuffie's name there, and then it's like he also created Static. You're seeing Todd's
Mm.
name, and he created Spawn, and you know,
Mhm.
I'm also an early 2000s kid, so it's like you're seeing Toriyama, and he created Dragon Ball Z. You're
Dragon Ball, yeah.
seeing Kishimoto, and he created Naruto. It was like, oh, if I want to do this, I have to make my own stuff. And so it started there. So I'm always kind of like doodling. Like, I never was a kid that was trying to draw Batman 300 times. Like, I was trying to draw my own stuff and make my
Mm.
own stuff. And I had parents that, when you grow up in Richmond and you say you want to be a comic book artist or comic book writer, and you look around, it's like, we don't do that here. That's unheard of. So they pushed me into, for good reason, and I really appreciate it. They pushed me in a direction to do something practical, which is why I ended up going to St. John's and getting a bachelor's and getting a master's. But after I graduated, like, I literally just sat there like with my degree before I'm about to start grad school. I looked at my girlfriend at the time. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I have a job lined up. I'm about to start grad school, but like, this is never what I wanted to do. Like, I'm a comic book kid that's in a punk rock. Like, I
Mm.
don't
Mhm.
want to work in a cubicle. But then I started the job, made money, good money, and you enjoy that, and kind of got distracted until like the pandemic hit, and when I wasn't going into the office every day, and there wasn't ways for me to waste my money on Jordans and all types of other things. I was like, not spending as much money. I've been constantly rewriting every TV show I've ever seen. Every time I watch something, I piss people off because I'm like, this would be really cool if this happened, or they should have done this instead. So, I went back to my mother's house, pulled up those old sketchbooks, and just got started. Like, literally
Mm.
just got to work and came up with ideas. And like, I mean, even though we're not together, I always have to shout out my ex because she really pushed me in the direction of like, I came up with ideas because it was like, all right, I want to start. I don't want to just be a one title guy. It's like if I want to come out with books, I want to come out with multiple things because I have a bunch of different interests and I like a bunch of different stuff. And originally I was gonna launch with 4 titles, and one of them she was like it's god awful, which made me like scrap that to kind of bring Dogpile to the forefront. She told me another thing was kind of reductive, so I scrapped that and like stole the villain from that and made him the main character in Snakebite. And Adastra was pretty clean. Adastra was the most solid idea, didn't have to go through any ex-girlfriend revisions, and you know and then here we are.
So your second moment was when COVID hit, and you were
Yeah,
just like, okay, I just need to do something other than this.
exactly. So it's like the first moment, like I said, definitely graduating and getting ready to start work and be like, oh, I really don't want to do this. This is not what I want to do. But then, I was 10 feet deep in that at that point. Like, I had the good degree, already signed the offer letter. So did it and enjoyed it. And then when COVID happened and things slowed down, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't want to do this. I shouldn't be enjoying this. Like, this
Mm.
isn't what I want. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, and like you were saying, you grew up DC, and I was like the opposite because I was definitely Marvel. Like even when you say Chuck Dixon and he's done something bad, and I'm like, I can't even remember what he wrote back there. I know the name, but I don't, like I have no idea what Chuck wrote, back then or now.
Yeah. Now Chuck is he was big in the Nightwing. He
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Nightwing, also like Robin's, well, Tim Drake as Robin, that first solo series.
Oh, I
Also,
have that. I think I met
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Wow. All right. Yeah, way back then, I think I did when
yeah.
that joint came out. But no, my other question on that note was, so you're already an artist, you're already a writer, you're already a creative, but you're also diving full into the world of publishing and all this. And I assume you pretty much knew nothing.
Yeah. So I'll
How did
say,
you get in? Like, for people who want to know this, because I mean, you already had the skills at least, but the business side of it is a whole other thing.
yeah. So that's why I can be mad at my parents for like pushing me to go to school because I have a business degree. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
a bachelor's in risk management, and then I got an MBA in executive management, and I was a broker. So I was a finance bro.
Mm.
And, being a broker and being a finance bro, like, I had to learn a bunch of different aspects of business because I'm obviously acting on other people's behalf. So, bringing myself up to speed with an industry or familiarizing myself with something is just a skill set that I have. Like, being able to having a bachelor's in risk management and being able to jump into something and accept the risk, trying to come up with strategies is a skill, that works for me, man. I like to problem solve. I'm a storyteller. So, that aspect of it in the business world, like being able to read books and, I read so many books, like how to write books, how to start a business book, like how to get into publishing, like publishing for dummies and all those things. So looking at that, obviously, like I'm also watching documentaries. You watch the rise of image, you watch all these things of how people did it, and that was a big aspect of it, like a bunch of like research and just understanding my general business knowledge. And then I also like want to shout out I have a mentor, man. So like I'm a comic book kid, so I used to going to conventions, meeting small creators, and one of those small creators that I met and I reached out to was Greg Anderson, LSA, the creator of Isnana. And I reached out to Greg. I'm like, hey man, like I understand all this practically. Like I got the numbers. I'm figuring it out. I read the books. I done read, Alan Moore's book on how to write. I done read Bendis's book, like Denny O'Neill's. Like I done read everything. How you really do this? And shout outs to Greg for not gatekeeping and being super helpful and walking me through and telling me different things and putting me on a lot of game. Those soft skills of having a mentor and then having the practical knowledge made it a very easy transition. I'm not gonna say it was smooth and like painless, or like dealing with people, dealing with artists, being able to navigate, making sure you line things up correctly for a printer and understanding dimensions. Like it's a learning curve, like anything, but I was able to avoid a lot of pitfalls that I know some artists that aren't as business minded, kind of fall victim to.
So, what would be one of the big pitfalls that you managed to avoid for people who are trying to get into this themselves?
One pitfall is over asking. And when I say over asking, like over asking for, like, if you see somebody's art and it looks really cool on Instagram and like they might not have a portfolio, you're like, oh, like, let me see some more stuff. Like, like because just like people understand what a portfolio is, but a portfolio is for your highlights. You put your best stuff there. But it's like if you're drawing a book, you have to draw a street. You have to draw an apple on a table, So you want to ask to see as much as possible. You also, like when I say like not being afraid to ask, like you want to jump into a book, like I would tell people, if you're coming up with a cast of characters, you don't need somebody to draw turnarounds for 50 characters or the mom and dad, but it doesn't hurt to ask for a sketch to make sure the main character's parents look like them. Or just like little soft things. And then like it costs to be a boss. Like if good art costs, also this is a small community, so everybody's trying to make a living. So I don't believe in being cheap to people. Like everybody can negotiate, but I'm not lowballing any artist. Like I'm not trying to stop anybody from eating. We all have to do this. So if it takes a while for me to raise the capital for a book, or if I have to save, or what should be a 40-page book needs to be 20 because the artist costs a little bit more and whatnot, you have to make those adjustments.
And how do you raise money for a book?
So for me, because I've been a bit of a finance bro. Like luckily, I've had a little bit of startup capital that I was able to do on my own, and then at this point, after my initial investment that I made of like personal, like balls to the wall money, now it's I go to conventions often. I literally just got back from Boston. I was in Boston Fan Expo, and then for me, I also did a Kickstarter. So I did a Kickstarter for pre-orders. Like I fronted the money to make the initial book, and then did Kickstarters to raise more money for the next thing, and in addition to that, also raise money for printing and whatnot.
Okay, good. And the reason why we ask, like, this is really critical information and it's really helpful because we have a lot of creators, as you know, that are listening to this and watching this and trying to figure out how did you get to where you got. And with all of that said, like, I do want to go into inspiration. Like, now you have this big background about where you came from and what you've gone through. So what inspired these stories?
So I like to say every story is kind of inspired by an aspect of my life, or or a hypothesis of what would happen if this were to go on. And like, I know we initially started talking about Dogpile. Dogpile to me is about life and dealing with trauma and just dealing with grief. Like that's kind of what that story's about. And I liken it to me being in my early 20s and fresh out of college and like knowing I wanted to do something,
Mm-hmm.
but not knowing what I wanted to do. And if you read that book, I hope people get that feeling from the main character, Daquan. It's like, he wants to do good. He's just trying to make it through, but it's like, what does that bigger purpose or that good really look like when you have so many other things going on? You know,
Mm.
when life just, when life is life and it's not always highs or lows, or even like you can't help you can't help what's going on. So being able to encapsulate that into a book, for Adastra, that's inspired by my younger sister. I have a younger sister that's a Gemini, and for that, anybody that's in the zodiac signs, they like to say Geminis are multiple people. So that's kind of a hypothesis of when you tell somebody they can be anything they want, what happens if they really can? Like, what happens when you can shapeshift and you can be anything you want to be, and you're struggling to be yourself?
Mm.
And last but not least, like with Snakebite, like I mentioned it, like I was a punk rock kid. So I started playing guitar like when I got in the 8th grade and like ninth grade. And that was a crucial time for me because while I was starting to stay in the house to learn how to play guitar, like my friends in my neighborhood started to go outside. And when I say go outside, like that's when that's when trouble started finding us. That's when, you know,
Ain't shit to do but cook. Shout out to the Clips.
yeah, exactly.
You from Virginia.
Yeah, that's when things started being real. It's like, oh yeah, we don't like them because they go to this other high school.
Mm-hmm.
Now they and they drive, and you saw them coming through the neighborhood, and like, wait, that's what they calling their crew now. Oh, we got to come up with a name for us. Are they wearing them colors? Like those
Mm-hmm.
sort of things started happening, and it's like those are also the people I went to school with. Those are the people that lived down the street from me. Those are the people I hung out with all the time as I was doing something new and playing guitar. It's like, had I not found punk rock and like wanted to pretend I was like in Suicide Silence or all these other death metal and hardcore bands, like I
I was going
would,
to ask you, what are you listening to? I mean, you're still punk rock. I see the gauges in your ear. So
yeah,
you're clearly still on that. You're on that
yeah,
type of time. Okay. So we're talking
yeah.
about death metal. Okay.
So I would say I was a scene kid. Like if anybody, for the
Mm,
people that know, they'll know. Like I was in.
early 2000s type stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So I
Mm-hmm.
was a scene kid. Like it started off with like Green Day and My Chemical Romance, and then it just
Mm-hmm.
started getting heavier and heavier. And being from Richmond, like we have a very big hardcore punk scene. So like all those straight edge hardcore bands like Hatebreed, Down to Nothing, Brace War, and like very intense things that will make people clutch their pearls when they scream, stuff like that was
Yeah.
what I was all about. But that's what I kind of wanted Snakebite to be like, all about decisions and having one foot in and one foot out and trying to navigate that, especially when you get something that might be unexpected, like superpowers.
Yeah. Well, it seems like these stories are like kind of portions and elements of your own life, just intertwined with fantasy, intertwined with, you mentioned, even anime. And then, of course, the typical superhero stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure.
That's very cool. I like that.
I really like how, I mean, talk about how it's, inspired by your own life. And this is something that I really enjoy when writers can do without making it like just straight up to be corny, basically, is to inject like blackness into the writing, but not in a pandering, like, or, this what the, whiteys will think is black, type of right. Like in Dogpile, when the dog and just the dog's dialogue throughout the book is one of my favorite parts about it, because they're just so semi-abrasive, they're not
Yeah.
very, they're very straight up to homie, like they don't pull any punches with them. But this when the
Mm-hmm.
dog was saying how, oh, she got them church lady arms, I know she can cook. And that just hit me in my soul because, I grew up in a Baptist church, and
Mm-hmm.
church lady arms used to actually scare me when I was little. Like women, when women had the big giant I was like, yo, that that's a lot of eating to get them arms, but they can cook.
Yeah, the stories are very unapologetically Black American coded.
Yeah.
And I mean, you are a Black man in America, and it's just really refreshing to get stories that reflect that. Like, yeah, you have Black creators, things like that, but even the names of the characters that you chose, it feels very Black American. And I know that there are a lot of people who feel like there's not enough attention put on the fact that a lot of the Black culture kind of stems from Black America. So I like that. That's kind of centered here too.
Yeah, that's definitely, that was something I wanted to do. Like, even with the mission statement for the company, to be unapologetic, like being such a media kid, like you hearing things of like, oh, Dave Chappelle left the Chappelle show because they were telling him what to do. Aaron Magruder left, Boondocks because they were telling him what to do. It's like, that's another reason why I'm so passionate about wanting to do my own things, because I want to be able to do whatever I want to do and have people that, if you don't know, you won't know, and you won't understand that it means something for people. Like you guys mentioned, like with the names, like I have a weirder name. Like, granted, my name's like a Muslim name, Omari Malik, but it's like I've never been able to go to a touristy shop and find my name on a keychain and things like that. Or
can't get that Coke can.
My name got too many letters, so
exactly. Like being in a situation where I never walked in a store and have been able to see that, but it's like I grew up in a neighborhood where I knew several Daquans. I knew LaDeja's,
Deja,
like,
like this is typical.
That was such a common name, but it's like I can't think of a main character named Daquan. I can't think of a main character named Deja or Imani's or
oh man,
like all names that to me, like, that was normal. Like, if I pull up my old, I knew in high school, I went to school with a girl named 2 Million. Like,
2 million?
I swear to God,
$2 million?
2 Million was her name. I swear to God.
That's incredible.
I swear to God.
Wherever you are, 2 million.
Hope you're doing well. Hope you got 2 or 3 million by this point.
I swear to God, but it's like,
hope that name came true for you. She couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis.
Yeah, like, I'm not joking. Like, that was like, I grew up in Richmond, bro. Like,
I know, bro. Well, I used to date someone from Richmond for a very long time, so I've been there. I used to call that a 2-hotel town. No disrespect, but
oh gosh,
it's not the biggest of cities. You know what I mean? And shit go down when in them little towns. And Virginia is.
Especially when you're on I-95, so you can't get down south without coming through Richmond. Like,
bruh, I've been through them all, like Christiansburg, Roanoke, Harrisburg, Blacksburg. It don't matter which of them towns you in Virginia. It's a problem. You mess around, you gonna find out. So I feel you.
Yeah, we both really liked all the different art styles for all the stories through all the books. Like, the art was unique in every story and it was different. And I think that's like what's more popular now. Like, even though there are different stories, when you read it as an anthology, like being able to go through different environments and different characters and just seeing it presented in a different way, from illustration, like that, as you see that in things like Spider-Verse, right? You see that I just started watching To Be Hero X. I don't know if you watched that, but like, being able to see that and then kind of work through that and have your own imagination about what the characters could sound like, things like that. Like, I think that's really makes the stories and just makes your work that much more interesting.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was another thing that it's like, I don't want to say it's super calculated, like I'm some mastermind and give myself a bunch of props, but it's like, I wanted everything to have a different feel. Like, Adastra, for all intents and purposes, it's a teen drama. Like, I wanted it to look like a Saturday morning cartoon. Dogpile, I wanted it to have that manga edge to it. Like, I wanted it to be manga driven. And for Snakebite, like, I wanted it to feel almost like every comic book on the shelf, like something that you might see from insert whatever Marvel and DC book, but it's like a story that you can never get from one of those companies where it's like, this kid's fresh out of juvie and he has tattoos, he's tatted up. Like, what is happening here?
And then also, like in Snakebite, it's not just that he's fresh out of juvie, but it's also that he's just a normal Black kid trying to make it. And like, I love that because it reminded me of me and my friends in high school, lying about girls, I wasn't hugged up on her, I got her number and all that when, she took his number, etc.
Exactly.
So It's all that type of thing. It's a real human take on these characters instead of just being like, well, he's a juvenile delinquent, and how can he avoid the gang life, and all that type of stuff. It's more like, yo, how can he get this girl and avoid? I mean, we all had to avoid the gang life as well, but we were all trying to just live life as well.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, like especially like with the gang aspect being a big part of it, it's like I feel like people don't necessarily always hear accurate stories of when you're in those scenarios because if you listen to drill music or you listen to more aggressive hip hop, it seems like everybody's an aggressor. But when you live in those neighborhoods, bro, everybody playing defense.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing defense, man. We don't, and even on both sides, everybody's playing defense. Like when they get to the party, the guys that live in that neighborhood at the party are like, why are they here?
Yeah.
They're just as defensive of why are they here as when they're walking in of like, we don't even want to do anything. It's
for me, it always like, these north side are gonna be up in here and like, it's gonna be a problem tonight. Because I was south side, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the fact that you just provided real situations that they, again, as Ben mentioned, that reminds me of like the Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, where like, there was a gang part and it's just like, it's the typical like, well, wrong side of the tracks. And now I gotta get my life right. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, can I just have a story where it's just like, I'm just trying to, I see Ben mentioned, meet this girl, or, me and my brother is going to 7-Eleven, just some regular, like, I think there's a lack of just stories about regular occurrences that happen every day. Me and my friends sitting on a stoop talking to each other about whatever, like that. This seems to happen very rarely in comics and stories, and even more so in stories that are centered on Black characters.
For sure.
That said, though, I do appreciate both Snakebite and Adastra representing like two Black kids from different worlds, different backgrounds. Like, I think that's also important, right? Like, so everybody's not in this wholly negative situation. No, not everybody's in juvie and all this other stuff. There's also girls who have the mother, the father, the sister, the brother. Everybody's there. You have all the resources in the world, and you just not trying to. You're not on that type of time. You just want to, you just want to go. What did they say in the comedy show? You just want to have big fun in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes that's how it is. And again, as mentioned, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people, we always say like Black culture isn't a monolith, but then the moment we don't see something that aligns from where we came from, we kind of attack it and be like, this is weird, or this is different, or this is that. But it's like, I wanted to be able to show both and not say that one was better than the other. Like, I also, I would say I'm not a happy endings guy. And when I say I'm not a happy endings guy, it's like in life, I don't believe in happy endings because in life you wake up the next day. Even the best day of your life, like the next day, like not to say it'll be terrible, but it's like after your wedding, like that next day you still got to clean up the reception hall. You got to do all that sort of stuff. So, like with my stories, I just try to make it as normal as possible. So, like at the end of Dogpile, like it's not a tragedy. It's not a super win. Same thing with Adastra. It's like, I did all this. And life goes on. And same thing with Snakebite. It's like, all right, this is cool, but it's like that didn't. There, not to say nothing was fixed, but it's like there's more world. Like we have to wake up tomorrow. Things are still going on. Like my stepdad's still my stepdad. I still don't like him. He still doesn't like me. Like stuff is still happening. Like
I know that life. Oh my goodness, I know that life.
And that's also good because you want to give people something more when they come back for issue 2, and
exactly.
on and on. So you can't just solve up everything in the pilot episode, otherwise we wouldn't have 5 seasons.
Of course. And I will say that your stories do differ and have unique perspectives enough where people that respond to like different approaches will like that. Like I think you could grab a very wide set of people with how you've done it, from the way the animation style, because like I said, Adastra, it's very cute. It's like very cutesy, like really bright colors. I like the lines there. And then you have something that's like Dogpile is more like grungy, sharper lines. Like I think you will, as someone who likes animation and different illustrations, like and respond differently depending on how it's presented. I think you're going to get different people too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Ben, did you have any more questions? here? Because I think if not,
no, I did have one more about the art. So you did the art on all 3 of these books as well?
So no, I hired different artists.
Okay.
I am the guy that gives very terrible outlines and layouts and makes
Okay.
people clean up everything that
Because I
do.
was like, damn, this man over here cooking
No.
with all kind of art styles, everything.
No,
like,
I mean that'd be amazing, but no, I saw that it was a
Omari
few people
working.
involved. Yeah, and
Okay.
how since we're mentioning them, how did that team come together? Just like mention people you just saw on the internet and was like, bet come through, or
a little bit. So when I that's what I mean when I say you always like it doesn't hurt to ask for different things. Like with Dogpile, like a little bit of trial and error. Like you can't avoid that. That's a part of the process of like finding a guy that I really thought was good, and then it's like, all right, man, you gonna have those pages done? And it's like,
no,
it's been a week. Oh my god, well, it's been 3 weeks. It's like, all right, bro, like I have to move on. And with Snakebite, it's like, oh, this guy's art's really good. Like, oh, why does this not look like what's in his portfolio? And having
catfish. Okay.
Exactly. So, having to switch that's why I tell people like you have to vet things. It's always okay to ask for a question, and like it costs to be a boss. And they're like, all right, you want this many revisions, you want this, you want me to do a test sketch? Like, I'm not doing a test sketch for free. Like,
wow.
It costs, and it's a part of the process because for me, because I was raised on Big Two books, which are the highest level of professionality when it comes to making comics. I have a very keen eye to where it's hard for me to see something and like it'd be a terrible comic book, and I'm like, oh, like it's hard for me not to accept like great artwork and even not be critical on myself. Where I'm like, I know I can't do this. Like, I need someone to come here and like do this properly. So,
yeah, self-awareness is key.
Yeah.
Very, very key.
Quite true. I think you survived the interview portion of ForAllNerds show. And, as a long-term listener, I know you know what comes next. We have the Brat segment. Rapid fire questions.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, hopefully you've been practicing these all these years you've been listening. So we shall see. Luke Cage or Black Panther?
Black Panther, because I don't think I could come up with a Luke Cage pitch. But if I needed to, if I was on the spot, I could come. I have a Black Panther pitch in my back pocket.
Very good. Magneto or Professor X?
Magneto.
The Wire or Breaking Bad?
The Wire, except I hate everything in season 2 that doesn't have to do with Stringer and Avon. So
wow, you just discredited. I mean, you might have well said Breaking Bad and kept your, just
Breaking Bad. I like Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is solid. Definitely like one of them. It's a solid show, but I love The Wire more. I
feel you. But if you got it, you might need to go rewatch season 2, brother. Come on,
bro. I didn't care about the longshoremen or the girls.
How can you not?
I did it. I get it. That's how the drugs got there. But it's like, I don't care.
There it is. There, you said it. There it is. It's the genius of the show. Plus, it's a great story.
I just hated them. I hated, what was his name? Ziggy or
Ziggy. Come on, man. How can you hate Ziggy? He's got the best. He's got the best going out line ever. I'm fucked is what I am. That's a character. That's how you get up out of there.
All right. My Chemical Romance or Fall Out Boy?
And I definitely MCR because they're also comic guys like Gerald Way and his brother. They both make comics.
Yes, they do. Umbrella Academy. I didn't really like it, but they made it.
You didn't like the book, or you didn't like the show?
I like the book.
The show.
The show definitely. I fell off.
Did not.
Yeah, I fell off hard. That's a show where it's like, yo, there were no black people in that writer's room because the way they treat time travel on black people is so like, sure, guy, okay, I guess. And the book I liked it. It was just Doom Patrol, it's Doom Patrol. It's well done Doom Patrol, but it's Doom Patrol. But that's not, it's all, if you copy, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, etc. That's how you do it. I ain't mad at that, and it was well done. And then they got a whole show out of it. So Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
I have a controversial take here. I'm gonna say Star Wars because I'm a very big Star Wars fan. I kind of hate Star Trek, but I love
Why do you hate it?
It just doesn't do anything for me. But this is the hot take. I love Star Trek parodies. Like I love the Black Mirror episode. That's like a Star Trek parody thing. Like
with Michaela Cole,
yeah, anything that's like a Star Trek parody or
what
like
about that? The Orpheus? What was it?
Yeah, exactly. The what's his name?
What was it?
From Family Guy. I forget
what's the name of that shit?
Is it the Orville?
Oh,
the
Orville.
Yeah.
The Orville, yeah.
I love stuff that spoofs or parodies Star Trek. But actual
Galaxy
Star
Quest?
Trek, exactly. Actual Star Trek.
So you like shit that clown Star Trek.
Exactly.
But you don't fuck with Star Trek.
hilarious.
You don't fuck with Star Trek for real.
Exactly.
No problem.
On certain levels, I'm the same. Like I like certain Star Trek though, but I also love like Galaxy Quest was my joint. That Black Mirror episode is one of the few I've ever watched.
I love it. That's like
yeah, you're right.
Like,
I never thought about it that way.
Even like the Futurama episodes. Like this is awesome.
I used to love it when they clowned on In Living Color. That's because I'm trying to think of like what was the earliest clowning of Star Trek I saw, and In Living Color, and I thought
that's what I mean. Like, anybody doing the William Shatner impersonation?
Oh, yep, you're right. Damn, you're right.
I love things that make fun of it, but like, ask me to sit down and watch an actual Star Trek episode? No, I'm not doing that.
Jason Clarke is coming back on this show to rip you a new one.
I'd much rather see somebody do the wild out Shatner impersonation than watch Shatner do it himself.
Exactly.
You're right. I never thought about it like that, but that is 100%. All right, that's a great one. What's your favorite superhero movie of all time?
Oh, this is. I love Black Panther. Before Black Panther, I would have said the first Thor. I love that first Thor movie.
Wow.
I don't know what that really did it for me.
Controversy is the name of the game today, folks.
I
mean, go for it. No, I'm not mad.
Say what you said.
Yeah, say it with your chest.
10 toes.
Those are obviously great. I mean, I was there day one, like for the Dark Knight, so I love that. Like, back when you could go to a movie theater and get little grams and go to Circuit City and like buy the DVD and get little prizes and toys like that. Like,
man, you threw it back. He said Circuit City.
I was all over it.
I forgot about that store for us. I was like, what the fuck is a Circuit City?
It's like when you buy the DVD, like you get a little like a bobblehead, pin sets, like all types of stuff like that. Like I love stuff like that. I really did like Zack Snyder's Watchmen when that came out.
Have you ever read the book?
I did, but like I read books. Like I had to be what grade? I was like in 7th or 8th grade, and I was all over that. Like that's what I.
7th and 8th grade when the movie came out.
Exactly, and I was still super into it. Like I have. Well, on this bookshelf, I
mean, if I was in 7th or 8th grade, maybe 2, but no.
Exactly. Loved it.
That's just ass.
Even like another one like that, the first Sin City, not A Dame to Kill For. The first Sin City movie, that's like a big one for me. But I would say Black Panther. Black Panther is my one.
No, man, you said Thor. Keep it a book. It was Thor.
Before Black Panther was that first.
We gonna get that Black.
That's a good caveat to say before Black Panther. I mean, I wouldn't have said that, but it was still a good thing to say. But I'll give you that.
I wouldn't have said that if Black Panther never came out.
We just fucking with you, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just amazed that somebody came on here and said Thor. So, stand on it. That's what I mean. You guys stand on that.
I'm telling you, one of my favorite movie scenes of any time is when he's in the cafe and he drinks the coffee.
Yep.
Just smashes a glass. Like another one. I'm like, this is me. I love this. I was like, people should never make me famous because I'm walking in restaurants and smashing glasses and saying another. Like,
no. Yeah, I mean, I stand on my Iron Man 3 love, so you can stand on that Thor love.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. In any medium, like a book, movie, song, whatever, what's character's death hurt you the most?
People are going to call me crazy for this one, but Bishop.
When he gets toasted in X-Men?
Bishop from Juice, when he falls off the roof. When Bishop falls off the roof in Juice, I was
man, he had murdered the crew. This dude is a complete monster.
I was sitting there like, yo.
I love Tupac more than the next man. but I'm still like, that man was, it was time for Bishop to go.
Did I want him to get rid of everybody? But it's like, for me, like I said, I like Village, so it's like I wanted him to pull. I wanted him to pull up Q and then like climb up and Q fall. Like I wanted.
You ain't got the juice now.
like obviously it's psychopathic. Like when he's at
Tatiana, you do know that's how the movie ends, right? No, I know because I'm not sure if Tatiana's seen Juice. So. Like, well, Tupac gets dropped off a building by Q Omari.
Mm-hmm. Omar Epps.
Omar Epps. And then Omar Epps then walks back, like, because at the top of the roof. So he walks back to the people who are standing there watching, because they're all standing by the door to the roof. And a random dude who has never seen or spoken to Omar Epps' character this whole movie says, "You got the juice now."
Like the audacity.
Nobody has
even throw that in there
in this whole movie
because you gotta say the name of the movie in the movie.
It's not like people have been talking about how if you kill somebody you get the juice or something. This bloodthirsty psycho.
Mind you, Tupac has been doing things that would have gotten him juice, like taking care of Rodimus, like his bullies, where he could have earned juice for doing that.
But no, he murders his whole crew and is a psychopath, and then gets dumped off a building by his best friend, who's really obviously tragically hurt at this whole sequence of events. And some random other sociopath is telling him how he's got the juice now. It's one of the greatest endings of any movie ever made.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you watch it. I want you to watch it in between two horror movies. It's like don't just watch it. Don't watch.
That's like a palate cleanser.
No, because it's a horror movie.
Because it's a horror. Like I don't want you to watch
that
it.
I would laugh at.
No,
I don't. A lot of people watch Juice as if like, oh, we're gonna watch Friday. We're gonna watch.
How do you not know what it's about though? It ain't that.
But people think it's an urban, like whatever movie. Not even a Friday, a Menace to Society, or But it's straight up. It really is a horror movie about.
Watch it. As a horror movie, like don't watch it like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch Juice and then Boys in the Hood. No. I feel you. Because it's straight up, it's a horror movie. Watch Carrie, Juice, and then My Bloody Valentine, and like you're gonna have a great double feature.
This is amazing. You really did Juice reclassified as a horror film.
That's crazy.
And Tupac is one of the greatest horror. Instead of asking Freddie, Jason, or
it's
Michael,
a slasher movie.
We're gonna have to start asking Freddie, Jason, or Bishop.
It's a slasher movie. It's a slasher.
It is. There's just no screaming woman though. What's the final girl? They don't have a final. Yeah. I guess Omar Epps is the final girl. just like the dude in Freddy 2.
Yeah. Why? That's what you do. You watch Freddy 2. Then you watch Juice because it's male-centric horror movies. So,
all right, this is a great breakdown. But shit, if you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
I want to say like teleportation or phasing, like to be able, like the Kitty Pryde to be able to phase, or Nightcrawler's teleportation.
Well, I'm not sure if we've ever had somebody say Kitty Pryde, so that's a good one.
Yeah,
phasing is definitely a good one, and I'm not sure anyone's ever gone for that.
Okay, I like
rob
it.
Some bakes.
Because I was trying to see the flaws of that, but I actually
I'm like, what's the point? Whenever I think of if I had phasing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go rob banks.
So for me, I'm a big concert because I'm in the music. I'm a big concert guy, so it's like I need tickets nowhere.
Nice.
Right? That's a great answer.
Yeah, right.
Walking through.
Yeah, and then you're just there, and like nobody's to bother you.
No lines anywhere.
No lines at any point.
So if anyone ever sees you walk through the wall, it's over. So you're gonna have to plan that out.
Yeah.
Because you just can't like walk through the wall at a concert, but
you can always find a random gate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to find a random gate. Yeah.
Behind the porta potties or something. You could come
because VIP is easy because you go to the back of the concert. You go to the back of the stadium and just walk in, and you in the back with all the roadies and shit. You in there. Yeah.
You're only limited by your imagination.
True indeed.
You can get in there. Well, you survived the BRAP segment and you have survived For All Nerds. Thank you so much for coming on as a guest. This was fantastic. We had a lot of fun, learned a lot about you. Please let the fan fam really, please let them know where they could find you, where they could find your work, all about Blacktooth Publishing, anything you want to tell us.
Yeah, so blacktoothpublishing.com, at Blacktooth Publishing on Instagram. I've because I'm an artist, I've started like documenting me drawing and like picking up more art skills and things like that. I have a separate Instagram and TikTok called Premium Artillery and stuff like that. I don't misspell words. I misspell like black names, but not not my at name. So you know.
And so anyone, if they're looking for a copy of the book, they can get it at.
Digitals are on my website, blacktoothpublishing.com, and then physicals are on Amazon. So they'll be to you super fast. So you can search my name, Omari Malik, or search the titles. Adastra.
Share the names of the titles once more.
Adastra, Snakebite, and Dogpile. They're all one shots, like we guys mentioned. Like they're pilot episodes. Working on the first complete arcs right now. Got a novel coming out soon. So
what's the novel about? Or is that secret?
I will tell people. I'm going to give you the tagline. It's cults, class, and a tale that's growing fast. So
what's the first part?
Cults, like cults, class, and a tale that's growing fast.
All right, intriguing.
We'll be looking for that.
Yeah, you have to come back there once you put that out.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Omari, for joining us. And as always, fam, thank you for joining us as well. Everyone out there, hope you're doing well, living life, enjoying it, all that good stuff. And we will be back with more For All Nerds.
Hey, what's up, internets and the fan fam? This is Tatiana King for All Nerds, and I want to thank you so much for listening and watching the For All Nerds. Make sure you like and subscribe to us only on YouTube.
For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.